Okay, this is Solve Systems by Graphing number 2 worksheet. Okay, here's your homework help video. Directions: graph the following systems of equations and find the solution. Now in class, we actually let you guys know you do not need to do number 2 or number 4. So that'll shorten your assignment a bit. On this assignment, I'm going to go ahead and do, I usually do all the odds, but since we got rid of half the front, I'm going to do number 1. Actually, no, I'm going to do number 2 because it's a little harder. Okay, number 3, and then I'll do all the odds on the back. All right, so let's go ahead and start on number 3. The reason I picked number 3 is that they're not all in slope-intercept form. If you look at this one, this is ready to go in the calculator or just a graph, but this one's not. So I'm going to show you 2 techniques you can use to go ahead and graph that easily, the second equation. Okay, so we have x plus 2y equals 0. We need to get y by itself. So every time I'm going from standard form to slope-intercept, it's always the same moves, okay? I take the x term, I do opposite math to move it over here, then I divide by this coefficient of the y, okay? So the opposite of positive x is negative x on both sides. I have 0 minus x, that's just negative x, right? Then I divide both sides by 2. And it's going to look something weird like that, but you just want to keep in mind there is a negative 1 here with the x, a little invisible 1. So that negative is negative 1x. So with that done, we have y equals, we have negative 1 over 2. And you can rewrite that as this, the fraction 1/2 x. Now what about the b number, the y-intercept? Well, there is no number, so the y-intercept is 0, and you don't have to write that. So that's my second equation. Let's go ahead and graph both of them now. I'm going to graph the first one. It's positive 6, so I go up 6, 2, 4, 6. My slope is negative 2. I'm going to put a 1 on the bottom so I can graph that. That's down 2, 1 to the right, starting at my y-intercept. Down 2, 1 to the right, down 2, 1 to the right, on and on. There's your first line. You can go ahead and graph that. The next one, the equation we just made, since my y-intercept is 0, then I'm right here at the origin starting off. And my slope is negative 1 over 2. So down 1, 2 to the right, down 1, 2 to the right, down 1, 2 to the right. And we can make a few going the other way, or you can just do it with your ruler if you hold it carefully in the right spot. All right, there's my other line. And you can see the intersection, it's right here. What is that ordered pair? That is 4, negative 2. That is the solution to this system of equations. Okay, I'm going to show you the same problem in the calculator. You can actually do the whole thing in the calculator. All right, I'm going to turn it on. This one I can put in easy just as it is. When I pull up my graph screen, it already has y equals, because that's what f of x means. I'm going to put in negative 2x plus 6. And remember, the negative in front, when it's in front, it's not between two terms. You actually have to use the negative, not the minus. It's very important to remember that. Minus 2x plus 6. You graph it. There's the same line that I graphed here earlier, okay? Now I'm going to tab to go to put in another graph, but here's what I want to show you. I want to show you something interesting, okay? I can actually type this in this order. I don't have to get y by itself necessarily. So if you get lost in these steps, let me show you this. Menu 3.2, it's been on the board for weeks now, okay? Menu, and we want to go to graph entry, and we want to go to relation. Now you can type it in just like you see it. X plus 2y equals 0. X plus 2y equals 0. The only disadvantage to this is you cannot have access to the table when you graph relations. But we have access to the graph. There's my other line. It looks just like what I graphed earlier by doing it by hand. Okay, if you want to turn on your grid lines, you can do menu 223. There's your grid. You could eyeball it and count over. 4 to the right and -2. Or even better, you can analyze the graph and you can get the exact answer right from the calculator. Go to menu, go to analyze graph, which is number 6, and go to, you want the intersection, number 4. There you go. You get this little dotted vertical line. You want to bring that over to one side of the intersection, okay, and just click it. You want to click and hold for a second, and it kind of plants that line there. And then when you drag over, back over toward the intersection, you have a little gray shaded area. You get over to that. As soon as I cross that, you see what happened? It finds the intersection of the lines. It's telling me the intersection. Now it's a little bit muddied up by the numbers being on top of each other. So I can actually go over here and I can grab it with my hand. Quick click there. Now I can see it highlighted. It's 4, -2. Or you could even grab it with your hand. If I can grab it. Sometimes it takes some practice here. Let me escape. Try again. So when there's a lot of stuff there, you kind of have to work with it. And there you go. I can drag it up so I can see it better. You can drag all these equation things around the screen. Okay? So that's 2 ways to do that one. We're going to quickly go through the rest of the paper. All right. So on the back, number 5, I'm going to give you the system of equations. I'm going to give you the equations, you answer the question, and you do the graphing, okay? Bolarama charges $3 per game, $2 for a shoe rental. Strike Zone, which I'll put a box around, $1 per game, $6 for a shoe rental. We've learned in class, we call the B the one-time number. There's a little 1 built in there. What are you paying for once? You're only paying for the shoes once. That's my B number. Okay? On Strike Zone, you're only paying for the shoes once again. So that's $6. You're only paying that once. So there's my y-intercept for both of these. I'm looking for this. What is my slope? My over and over number. What am I paying for over and over? $3 per game. That's happening over and over. That is my slope. So it's the $3 per game times the number of games plus the money I pay for shoes gives me the total money, and that matches our graph. Games is here. Cost is here. Okay? This is games. This is cost. Okay? Same thing with the other one. But now I'm only paying $1 over and over per game. So this is 1x plus 6. I want you to graph those. You can do it in the calculator or by hand, and you'll answer number 6 as well. Number 7, the graph below compares the heights of 2 trees. Okay, so we have the years since the trees were planted, 1 to 9 and so on. The height of the tree in feet, 1 up to 9 and so on. How many years after planting will the trees be the same height? Okay, now you have to ask yourself, because they have some, first of all, they're the same height here. That's kind of obvious, I think, right? That's where they're the same height. But notice their answers. They give you 1 year. That doesn't really make sense. They give you 2 years. That doesn't really make sense. But some people could get these mixed up, okay? Because you do have a 4, but you also have a 6. Which one's the right answer? What are they asking you? They're asking you for the years. This is years. This is the height. If they were asking for the height, the answer would be 6 feet. But they're asking for years, so the answer is 4 years. See, this 6 years answer is deceptive. 6 does not even go with years at this point. Okay? So those are the odds for the homework. I hope it helps, and see us in class if you have more questions.